Hi, we're Britt and Mike, and this is Leah. We're converting our 2021 Ford Transit van into a home on wheels. Last week, we finally installed our electrical system, and this week, we're testing it out and starting to build out our shower.
What's up everyone? Welcome back to our van build series. This week, I am working on the shower. So right here behind me, I have a big sheet of FRP. That's fiberglass reinforced plastic, and that's gonna be the walls of our shower. First things first, I need to go ahead and cut these pieces out. This right here is already marked out for the back wall of the shower, and for the side walls, I'm gonna have to use stencils. The way we'll attach this stuff is with FRP adhesive, but it seems to be kind of hard to get my hands on that stuff. So I had to actually order it online to have it delivered. It'll be here in a couple days. So in the meantime, I'm going to do my best to get everything ready and prepped, and hopefully I can just throw it in there once I get my adhesive. And just a quick disclaimer, I will be cutting my FRP with a jigsaw, which you can't use a regular jigsaw blade apparently, so I had to purchase a carbide jigsaw blade. Do with that information what you will. Okay, so I'm in the van. You might have to excuse the noise a little bit. If you watched last week, then you saw that we got the electrical hooked up, and right now I am running the air conditioner because it is currently 97 degrees. But in here right now, it's about 77 degrees. So I'm enjoying it. So if you look here right behind me, you can see that I have our first cardboard stencil cut out and made for one of the side panels. And basically I'll have to replicate that to the other side because they're not exactly the same. Nothing is, of course, in the van. But I think that's a pretty good start. I have to work around the wheel well down there. For this back panel, I have to work around the wheel well as this little pillar here, whatever this is. And then this wall, supposedly, will be the easy one, but that's to be seen. Okay, so real quick, I wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit more information on the air conditioner because I have been here running it for a few hours now, and I've been really happy with the performance. I have the air conditioner set on eco mode, which will only pull about 19 amps of power versus when it's not in eco mode and you have it cranked down pretty high. Depending on what you have it set on, it could pull as much as 400, 450 watts and like 30 something amps. So with it on boost mode, it's like 500 watts and I want to say in the 40s for amps. But I turned it on relatively early today when it wasn't very hot out. I think it was about 81 degrees. I cranked it for a few minutes on a pretty low temperature, like 62 degrees. And then I turned that up to 72 degrees. And it's been running at 72 degrees now for a couple hours. I'm currently getting 38 volts from my solar panels, about 8.5 amps, so solar panels are helping out here quite a bit. But with our solar panels operating at that range, we are only losing 6.56 amps per hour right now. So this thing's running at like 14 amps right now. It's not very high at all. Our power wattage usage right now is 84. So I'm still at 94% charge, and with my current battery usage, I could run it like this supposedly for almost 2 days. So I think that's pretty good. I know that obviously without the direct sunlight, I wouldn't be getting this good of solar at the moment, and my usage would go up quite a bit. But being that it is in eco mode, at the most it's only going to pull about 19-20 amps even without any solar going into it. So I'm pretty happy with it. To be running it for a few hours and I'm going to be down to 94%, I did not even expect the performance to be that good, and it's comfortable in here, especially as I get to the back of the van. Okay, so now that all that's out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and get started cutting this FRP board out, and hopefully I do a good job because it's like 40 bucks a sheet and only about 2. Alright guys, I've got everything laid out here and I'm pretty much ready to get started. I just need to put on my PPE real quick. I think that's a pretty important step. I should be wearing a long sleeve shirt and jeans, but it's about 100 degrees and I can't do that. I'm going to take all the other precautions I can. Wear a respirator, hearing protection for the jigsaw, gloves, and goggles. Just take precaution when working with fiberglass. All right, so those first cuts look pretty successful. I think the size is good. Now I just gotta mark out or notch out these two little things here. This is for the wheel well, and this is for that little pillar in the van. I have no idea what to call that thing, but I'm calling it a pillar. These two things are pretty much the bane of my existence as far as the bathroom and shower go. So they make everything just a little bit harder. Okay, so I think I'm done with the first panel. Let's take a look at it.
Hi guys, it's Wednesday. We have a very important update, or should we say pup date? Leah, do you want to show them your new haircut? Oh wow, she was getting a little shaggy.
Alright guys, so as Britt said, it is a new day, and that means we are ready to move on to our side panels here. I've already gone ahead and made my first stencil like I showed you yesterday. I just took it and traced it out here to match all the curvatures and stuff of that wall, and knock on wood, everything's gonna come out just right. So while I do that, I think I'm gonna go ahead and continue to test the limits of the air conditioner today. So yesterday I ran it for probably 5 or so hours on eco mode only, and left at the end of the day only using 10% of the battery. So I thought that was great, but it was in eco mode, and it was 103, 102 degrees yesterday or so. So by the end of the day, it was not nearly as comfortable in here as it was early on in the day. Right now, it's only 74 degrees in here, so it's still really nice. We're parked in the shade, but the sun's about to start coming out and hitting both the van and the solar panels. So I think now would be a good time to test out the regular setting and just see what it can do in a similar span of time, maybe how much power consumption it has, and also how much solar can make up for that power consumption by tomorrow. For reference, the 10% that we used yesterday when I left at 5, it only had a few hours to continue to consume solar, but when I came in this morning, it was already 100% again. Okay, so I've set it to 72 degrees on auto mode, and let's take a look at what the power consumption is so far. Okay, so like I said, the solar panels are currently in the shade, so we aren't really getting much solar right now. The air conditioner at this setting is operating at just under 19 amps and 240 or so watts. I think that's actually pretty good. It's not even in eco mode. So far I'm happy with those numbers. We'll see how it looks at the end of the day. So far I've noticed that if you blast the air conditioner on a really low temperature, like when you turn it on, it usually starts at 62 degrees. If you do that, then it's at a very high power consumption, but it also does cool the van down very quickly. So that might be a great option to use it on the lower settings with a lower number like that, and just blast it with cold air and then turn it up to about 72 degrees or so, because then the motor seems to slow down a lot and the consumption goes down to basically what eco mode is advertised at, which is 19 amps. So yeah, that's really positive. Once we start getting solar today, that number should basically cut in half, that 19 amps, and I think that this can go on this setting for a long time. So I'm curious to see what the performance is like. It is supposed to be about 5 degrees cooler today than it was yesterday, but it'll still be a good test. I do think it's also worth noting that we don't currently have any insulation on the windows at the front of the van. So the side window nor the front windows here, there's no covers for them yet. I'm probably going to make some temporary ones, and then we're going to place an order for some nice quality permanent ones, but I just haven't got around to it yet. Okay, enough of that. Back to our regular scheduled program. Out a little bit here. So yeah, I'll have to take a little bit off right there on the bottom of this, and then I think this should fit up pretty snugly up here.
Now that we have our lights, we're getting that like strobing effect in the camera.
Of course.
If anyone has tips on like what camera setting to use so that you don't get those strobing lights, let me know.
All right, let's give this another shot. This time I'm gonna wear gloves because I am giving myself fiberglass splinters. So, word of caution. Much better. Well guys, I got this piece cut out and it fits perfectly. The only problem is I did it backwards. So I need to go to Lowe's and pick up another $40 sheet of this stuff in order to cut out my last piece. Alright guys, I went to Lowe's, picked up another board, recut it, it fits fine, crisis averted. I'm out another 40 bucks. Oh well, stuff happens. But just a quick update on the air conditioner. It is currently 95 degrees outside. It is 84 degrees towards the front of the van where I don't have any window covers. But I have all my vents facing the back of the van. And back here in the bed area, it's gotta be 72, 74 degrees. It's quite literally perfect back here. So I have my little homemade window covers back here. I've got my bunk window covers. Those are made by Van Made Gear. They're very, very nice covers. And we plan on wrapping or doing the side window and the rear windows with those same kind of covers. For the front, it'll be a combination of probably some basic window covers and also a insulated curtain. Once we have all that other stuff in place, I imagine that the cool air retention in the van will be much, much better. But yeah, I am really happy with the performance today. Since the beginning, I haven't dropped this thing down below 72 degrees. I'll show you what the power consumption looks like for the day. So in approximately the same amount of time as yesterday, I pulled about twice as much power to run the air conditioner. Yesterday we used about 10%, today just over 20%. You can see we're running at 30 amps right now, about 400 watts, so it is working harder because it is hotter outside now than it was this morning. When it wasn't so hot outside, it was only pulling about half as much amps and wattage. So yeah, obviously I couldn't run it like this forever, but I think especially at night, once it starts to cool off a little bit, we can get it to the desired temperature in the van and then run it in eco mode or in a lower consumption setting for quite some time. So I think the obvious benefits of having the air conditioner are we can presumably leave Leah in the van for extended periods of time during the day, especially when we have good solar power coming in with the air conditioner running, and she'll be fine. I mean, the van we can run it at that setting for 5 hours, 4 hours, and not use that much power. As many of you know, a lot of the national parks are not dog friendly. So that was one of the deciding factors in getting the air conditioning unit. The other benefit for us obviously is comfort and being able to sleep at night. If I'm hot, I can't sleep. And Britt is very much the same way. So this air conditioner is going to be fantastic at night when we are trying to stay comfortable in the van and get that quality sleep. And now it'll be interesting to see how much of that 21% battery we can make up before the end of the day while we don't really have a lot of great sunlight left. It'll be interesting to see if we can get all that back or if we have a little bit residual that needs to be made up for in the morning. All right, guys, it is the next day and the verdict is in. The solar power completely recovered. We are at 100%. And I'm pretty impressed, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of tall trees around here. It was late in the day without good direct sunlight, and we still made up that 21% or so. So I'm really happy with how our solar arrangement is doing, and also, you know, I'm pretty happy with the air conditioner efficiency that I've seen so far. I'll continue to test it and, you know, kind of push it a little bit and see how it performs and stuff, but I feel pretty good about it so far. I think this morning, since it is about 9 a.m. and it's still only 72 degrees outside, I think I might give the heated floor a try and see if I can get it up to a comfortable temperature. And by comfortable, I mean comfortable for winter standards, not comfortable for now standards, because it's gonna be warm in here. Okay, so as you can see, the floor is currently 72.6 degrees, and I have it set to 80 degrees. And then on our battery monitor here, you can see that we are drawing about 13 amps and 180 watts. So the heated floor is on and drawing power. So now we just got to see how long it takes to raise this temperature. So just a quick update. It's been about a half hour. The temperature is now to 75.5 degrees, pretty close to our target temperature, but it does take a little while to warm up. I will say that the floor is noticeably warmer. If I step off of the heated mat, it's actually quite cold, but stepping on it, it is very warm. So I'm gonna continue to run it for a little bit just to see, you know, how long it does take to get up to 80 degrees. But I am already very, very satisfied with the results. A half hour to warm our floors to a very comfortable temperature is awesome. We'll see what kind of performance we get once it's actually cold outside. So far, rave reviews. It also just occurred to me that I haven't really got a chance to show you guys our reading lights yet since we've hooked up the power to them, but I am digging them. Okay, so just a quick update on the heated floor. It is 11 o'clock now, and it is at 79.3 degrees. I think I'm gonna go ahead and shut it off. I think that was pretty good. Took a couple hours to get up there, but also it's probably warmer than we'll ever use it to. It only goes up to 85 degrees. I think 75 or so degrees would be really comfortable in most cases. Let's see what our power consumption was. So to run it for a little under 2 hours, we used 4% of our battery. It's not bad. So back to today's project. I have not received the adhesive for the FRP board, so I can't install that yet. But I think what I'm gonna do today is build a shower pan for the shower. At least get started. So if you look right here behind me, I've got a bit of scrap left over. I've got this piece, and I've got these little pieces over here. That's marine grade ply from when we did our subfloor. So I'm gonna go ahead and build a box. Then I am going to go ahead and try to seal everything up with fiberglass and resin. Let's cross our fingers this goes well, but I feel pretty good about it. So first things first, I gotta go ahead and cut this piece to fit in this space. So you can see there's quite a bit here to work around. I've got to go around the wheel well, around this thing here. They both come up about 8 to 9 inches or so. So it's gonna have to be built up on that side and those corners at least. And then in the front, I gotta build it up along the edge of this lip. And I think I'm probably gonna take it and like overlay it in the front. We'll see. Okay guys, I've only got one sheet of marine grade plywood that's big enough for the shower pan. So I need to get these first couple cuts just right. After a couple hours of a lot of trial and error, cutting, trying to fit it in the van, recutting, trying to fit in the van, I finally got this bottom piece pretty much perfect. Basically, you see the shape of the shower pan. It's kind of challenging to make it fit perfectly in the van. Nothing is exactly square, nothing's exactly perfect, so it just makes everything a little bit harder. Anyways, I got that cut out finally. And my next task is to build up the front of it, at least cut the wood out for this part. I need a lip that's about 2 1/8 inch thick or tall. That way I can match it to the lip that I already have in the bottom of the shower in the van. And then from there, that lip can continue around the sides, on both sides. And then in the back where the wheel well is and where this little thing is over here, I'll have it come up about 8 or 9 inches. With a square top on top of both. This will be kind of a shelf over here. We'll have a little shelf right above the wheel well. And then I think in the back, I'll probably take it back down to the 2 1/8 inch height. So a lot more work to do on this, but finally making some real progress. Alright guys, it's been a little bit since I picked you up. For the sake of productivity, I put the camera down for a while and just got to cutting. I got the pan made as you saw before, and then I was able to build up the box that's going to go on the wheel well, as well as that other bump out. I've got the front lip cut out, and then I've got pieces cut to length for all the sides. I've got these ones here and this one here. I said cut to length, I meant cut to the correct thickness. I'm gonna wait until I connect everything else up to make sure that all my gaps are basically perfect, because I just don't want to cut these and have it be wrong and then run out of wood. I'm getting really low on wood. This is almost everything right here, and then I have this piece back over here, this little piece, and a few little scraps, so not a whole lot of room for mistakes now. Alright, it's the next morning and I'm about to start putting this box together, which means I get to use one of my favorite things in the world now, which is pocket screws. So get ready for a big montage of pocket screws. Watch glue go everywhere. Alright, just a little update. I've got all these pieces attached, the front and these two big ones in the back. I just need to attach these three side pieces, but I think that looks pretty good. I mean, as good as a shower pan can look with this big ugly box up here. This one actually doesn't look that bad, but this one, it's not the prettiest. But then again, neither am I.
This is Editing Brittany here to formally retract that statement on Mike's behalf. Thank you.
Okay, it is the moment of truth, and I'm a little nervous. So much lighter than I expected.
For once, something isn't heavy that we put in this van.
It actually doesn't look bad.
Alright guys, it has been a few days since that last clip when Mike finished the wood box for the shower pan.
I really can't move forward from here because working with the fiberglass that I was trying to wrap the shower pan in was just an absolute nightmare. And I have to say, if you're thinking about doing this at home, just don't. Absolutely the worst experience of my life. So I've decided to go a different direction and try something else, so stay tuned for that. Also, we're waiting on the adhesive for the FRP. So I can't glue the wall panels on either, so it's a lot of loose ends on this video, and I apologize for that. But
So next week we're starting our freshwater plumbing, and we did get our freshwater tank, so we'll see you next week for that, and then we will finish the shower at some point. I fucked that up. We will finish the shower at some point, but not next week. So stay tuned for that.
for sure.
Alright, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
All right, bye guys.